Hey, everybody, and welcome to another XP Network Friday night live stream. I'm Jason Horonsky, your host here, and I'm here with Rob from Wise Wizards.
Hey,
We're going to be
Jason.
giving out some Wise Wizards XP today, so be sure to sign up for the event and click the QR code or scan the QR code below and get that 100 XP. We're going to be talking about Draconis 8. Obviously, you guys are probably familiar with the Realm system. Don't forget to comment in the chat, and we'll get to your chat questions at the end of the stream. But without further ado, Rob, who are you? What do you do?
Hey, well, I'm Rob Doherty, CEO of Wise Wizard Games. I played a ton of professional Magic when I was younger. I'm in the Magic Hall of Fame, along with one of my partners at Wise Wizard Games, Darwin Castle, is also in the Hall of Fame. We played in the Your Move Games team back in the day, in the early days of Magic, with Dave Humphreys, who's also in the Hall of Fame, and he works at Wizards now making Magic sets, and a bunch of other great players from back then, like Justin Gary and many others. I got into game design and started self-publishing games like 20, 30 years ago. Did a bunch of like small games that nobody really heard of. And then my first breakout game was Ascension, which I made with Justin Gary. And that one did really well. And then Darwin and I started a little side project doing a game called Star Realms, and that one just completely exploded, and sort of the side project kind of took over took over most of my time. So I do game design, and I'm the CEO of Wise Wizard Games. And at Wise Wizard, we both make physical games, and we also have a in-house digital studio. So we make apps. A lot of gamers are familiar with the Star Realms app. If you're not familiar with it, go download it. It's free, and then you can play a ton for free. And then for like $5, you can upgrade to the full online play experience and be able to play it with people from all around the world.
The Star Realms is one of my favorite games. The Realm system in general is fantastic. And then you have like a video game studio. So you have the Digital Realms games, Draconis 8, which is going to be a big topic of today. So tell us about Draconis a little bit.
So Draconis 8 it's a very cool game, and it's doing a lot of new stuff. It's kind of defies being categorized with normal terms. Basically, it's a trading card game, and it's a abstract strategy game. In Draconis 8, you have a 8-card deck, and the booster packs of the game are actually complete decks for the game. So when you get your booster pack and you open it up, it will come with it comes with a little pack of cards. You'll get there'll be cards which are champion cards, and these are will be soldiers or monsters, and they have stats on all 4 sides. They have a little icon on them, and they'll have a initiative score. So the cards are completely textless. They're square, and these cards are actually individually generated. So we roll up every single card in the game like you're rolling up a character. We randomize which of the special abilities the card gets. It then gets a random initiative between 1 and 20. And the system we use assigns, basically there's a point value for every special ability, there's a point value for your speed, and all the remaining points get divided up among the 4 sides of the card. When you're playing the game, you have your little 8-card deck, and you shuffle it up. Your opponent has an 8-card deck, they shuffle it up, and you each draw a 2-card hand. You then look at your 2-card hand and decide which of the 2 cards you're going to want to play, and each player would have gotten a terrain card, and you randomize which player's terrain card gets used. You just put that on the table, and that's a neutral piece that any player can play against. And then when the player who wins the initiative, so let's say we had these two cards played, one player playing this one. Well, we got a 20 initiative. That player would win initiative. They would then get a victory point for winning initiative. And you got these, game comes with a little punch board. So each pack has a little punch board. You got the little initiative counter. You'd take that, and that would score you a point. And then you would place your card next to a card that's already on the table, either orthogonally or diagonally. And at the end of the game, every place where your card is touching a card that isn't yours, where your number is larger than theirs, you're going to be scoring a victory point. You're building a 4x4 grid as you play. So it's got an abstract tile laying gameplay feel, but it has a TCG style of being able to, for example, you can build decks. So you can play with a deck that comes right out of the pack, or you can build decks, or you can build a deck out of 3 packs. You can build a deck out of your entire collection. So there is a just really cool melding of the TCG style play and abstract strategy style play.
Yeah, it looks like you're the first company I've seen that really solved the triple triad problem that everybody had of how do you make this game actually viable after a certain point. And you did it in a way that stayed very simple without a bunch of text. Doing both of those things is a huge task for the grid-based combat games that are cards on grids. And I also like the square idea because then it fits really well.
Yeah, and the special abilities are really the key that make the game super interesting. So, for example, if you have a card with a flight special ability, then if it wins a combat by 10 or more, you get an additional victory point for that. If you have a card with the stomp special ability, a little down arrow, that you are able to play that card on top of an opponent's card and slide it orthogonally on the table. And when you place cards, you'll put little victory point markers showing where you're currently winning and losing. But when a card gets moved, all those get removed and you recalculate the points. So basically, you don't actually score until the very end of the game. You have your counters on the table sort of shown, so you get a good sense of, okay, what's the score currently at? But the score doesn't lock in until the end of the game. The only points that are permanent as you're playing are the points for winning initiatives. You win initiative, you get the little, and the initiative points are actually they're worth half of the combat points. So they definitely can add up, and they can be a really powerful tiebreaker. But all those special abilities and the interactions between them make the game really fascinating to play on a strategic level. And the fact that every pack is both unique and balanced is huge. So you have no idea what cards your opponent's going to have. And what the stats on those cards are going to be. And you can have a sense for things like, oh, this combat number is a 35. That's pretty good. That's a pretty large number. But they might have a 43, or so a lot of it's sort of dealing with the board as it is and trying to prepare for things that could happen. And that creation of the 4x4 grid when you play, that can lead to some really interesting scenarios. Like sometimes you'll play a piece in a spot which doesn't get you points, but is sort of locking in the shape of the board. Let's say you're doing really well in a certain area. You got a card that's scoring tons of bonus points, and you don't want your opponent to be able to mess with it. You might lock in the board so that card becomes sort of unreachable based on how you've laid out the spatial situation in the game. So it's the play tactics are fascinating. It's super addictive to play. The gameplay out of a single pack is really good. Basically, it's not like a lot of games will have, oh, here's a little deck you can buy and play, and you can technically play the game, but it's not the real experience. But playing Draconis 8 out of a pack, that's the full play experience. That said, being able to like look through a collection of cards and try and customize a deck to play, that's super fun. Or doing like we have a 3-pack format where you can build a deck out of three packs and put a deck together. Feels a lot like building like a sealed deck in Magic. And that every card being unique thing is just super super cool.
So I have a couple questions, and I did get to play test this a little bit. So what's for the fans out there? What's the highest number that you can get?
So I we've tweaked these numbers around a bunch. I believe it is currently 55 is the highest number. I might be off, but I believe 55 is the biggest any combat side can be. And the highest an initiative goes from 1 to 20. And on a rarity perspective, initiatives are on a bell curve, so you'll have a lot more cards that are in the, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 range than you'll have like cards in the 1 to 4 or 17 to 20 range. So and so that there's a lot of chase for a lot of people are looking for a rare card, one of the dragon cards, which has a certain special ability and a certain initiative range, and ideally having the larger stat numbers laid out in specific patterns on the card. So there's a lot of potential chase going for play style issues. So my dragon and your dragon will be built off the same number of points, so their sort of raw power is the same. However, you might like a particular special ability, you might like a particular initiative to match the kind of play style that you're going for. Because like the lower the initiative the card has, the more points it had left over to be put on those stats around the sides of the cards.
And you have a dragon in every deck?
So every pack will contain 7 champions, 1 terrain card, and 1 dragon card. Now, the regular cards have a singular special ability. So, for example, this worm has this enforced ability. That means that these 3 sides, it cannot be affected on those sides. So there's no fighting on this side, and like special abilities that come in from a diagonal or from this direction would have no effect on this card. The dragons have 3 special abilities. So every dragon has flight. That's one where if you win by 10 or more, you're going to get an extra victory point. Every dragon has range. With range, you see these green icons in the corner. That means if you're pointing to an enemy card diagonally, you will score a point on the corner. Normal range cards will have range on two of their 4 corners. Dragons have the range icons on all 4 of their corners, and then this dragon has that enforced ability, which has that one side where it's immune. So white dragons breathe ice; they can create ice walls. So all white dragons have the enforced ability. Red dragons have stomp. Black dragons have fear, etc. So there's a matchup between the thematic abilities of the creature and what special abilities they have. So dragons are just built off of significantly more points than a regular card. Dragons are kind of like your queen in chess. It's just a super strong piece. It's way more powerful than the other pieces you have. However, your opponent has one too. So basically, when you play your dragon and where you play your dragon has a big effect on the game, especially because of that 4-corner range ability. Like if you can get your dragon placed properly on the board, you can get tons of points off that single piece.
Super thematic, really cool. Obviously, Draconis, it makes sense you'd have dragons, right? That's why I wanted to ask that. And then the terrain piece, so the person that gets to pick that, does that go anywhere they want on the grid, or is it?
So basically, the terrain piece starts the grid. So the grid isn't defined. You're placing this card down, and so you might end up putting 4 cards, like 3 cards on top of this, and the terrain ends up being in the bottom. It might end up in the middle. Basically, it's on the table. People can play. It's the first card for people to play around, and nobody owns the terrain. So you can use your terrain, or their terrain. Frankly, you could use a random terrain card from your collection. It doesn't matter. Nobody owns it. It's just a a random piece on the board. Now, that said, if you're building a deck, you'll want to think about what terrain card you're using, because two of the terrain card sides have this high ground symbol on them. And the two largest numbers on the terrain have high ground. If you defeat the high ground, you get 2 points instead of 1. So when you're looking at your terrain card and you see the numbers on there, thinking about, okay, I want to choose cards that can beat these numbers with their best side, so that I'll have an opportunity to grab the high ground, when it comes up during the game. So for constructed purposes, that's a thing. You'll want to think about what terrain piece that you'll want to use with your constructed deck, or if you're building a deck out of 3 packs. You'll want to pick which of those 3 terrains used based on which cards are available in your pool.
I can definitely see the strategies, and I love the dynamic grid, so that also like doesn't restrict you as much as like a chessboard, like you said.
Yeah.
I also really like the dragon themes right now, because we're going to Origins this year, and we have a heavy dragon theme there, so we're giving out the fire enamel pins to everybody to get your immunity to dragon breath. So there. And then you guys are going to be at Gen Con. So we won't have a big activation there, just because the booth space is really hard to get. And we're a newer company to Gen Con. I'm not new to Gen Con, but in fact, there's a Gen Con cup right there. But
yeah, Gen Con's a little weird on the spacing thing. It's very hard. I've had challenges where I've done a bunch of different game companies over the years, and anytime I switch from one company to the other, they're like, "Oh, you're a new company. You don't have space."
yeah, it's the constant climbing the ladder, and it is what it is. We do have some questions in the chat. Don't forget to put your questions in the chat for Rob. Draconis is also a digital game, so let's not forget that. So how do we play that?
So it is available right now on Steam Early Access, also iOS and Google Play. So both in the app stores. And when you can create an account for free, and when you create your free account, you will get a pack. A digital pack in the game, so you'll be able to play right away. You also will you start out with 7 shards, and if you defeat the campaign, or if you win 3 games online, you can earn a shard. And every time you get 8 shards, you can turn that in for another digital only pack. So plenty of opportunities for free play. You can also buy digital packs within the game. Like for $3, you can get a digital pack. You can get a box worth of digital packs for I believe it's like 48 or so. And we also have Magic Month for $9.99, where basically if you the next 30 days you log into the app, you get a pack. When you log in, that's by far the best deal. But also, when you get your physical pack, if you turn your terrain card over, there is a scannable code on there, and you'll be able to scan that code and bring your physical pack into the digital app. The exact same cards will be there, and when you're looking in your collection, there's a little when you're building decks or checking out your cards, there's buttons you can click to say, hey, I only want to see my physical cards, or I only want to see my digital cards, or I want to see all my cards. So let's say you were going to play a tournament in store, a constructed tournament, you could go into your app, you could select show me only my physical cards, and then you could build a digital deck using the same cards that you own physically, test it, try it out, tweak it, and then when you get the build you like, you can go to your physical collection and put that together for going and playing.
Super cool. I wonder how many people just freeze framed that QR code to see if that's going to give them a pack.
Yeah, that one's just a test pack, so that's not going to work for them. So
I know. We've done enough of these streams spoiling games and stuff back in the day when I was publishing, and I'm like, people freeze frame this stuff for that kind of thing. So, you ready for some questions from the community?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So I've got a question from Stevo70. Question for Rob. what is your favorite ability to play in his decks?
So I'm very partial to the stomp ability. That's the one where you can play on top of a piece and
I
shuffle.
was thinking that sounds like the one I would want to play too. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
it's a very your remaining stats on your card will not be as high because that ability is quite strong. So basically, when we did a whole lot of game development in Draconis, we basically tested the game physically, got the balance to where we liked it, and then once we made the app and we did our Kickstarter and we got people playing in the app. We got tons of app data, and behind the scenes we were balancing, tweaking over time, and we got those.
That's something I've always loved about your team is you guys take the video game data and you really balance the crap out of these games. Like I think you
Yes,
guys
yeah,
have some of the best balanced games out there.
it is the most powerful game development tool I've ever worked with. Like normal, for many years, I've been balancing games through basically through physical play. You sit down, you play games, you crunch data, and like one of the with Star Realms, for example, Darwin and I had a challenge in like we gave games to a bunch of play testers and we got data from them, but we found that data couldn't keep up with us because like Darwin and I would be playing constantly. We're both super competitive, Hall of Fame Magic players, love to beat the crap out of each other. So we'd be testing and tweaking and changing and testing and tweaking and changing at this huge velocity. And we'd have play testers out there playing stuff. And then they'd send us information. We're like, yeah, this is 4 days old. This is dead to us. So
Too
like,
late, too late.
but even with that, we could get hundreds, maybe, multiple hundreds of games in. Uh, but with the digital apps, we can be looking at like tens of thousands of games worth of data. We can filter it any way we like. So basically, okay, what's the win percentage on this ability? What's the win percentage on this ability when opponents have these other abilities in their deck? Okay, what's the win percentage on this ability with only players who have a really high rating? Like, so is this ability broken in the hands of someone who's a very high skill player? Because sometimes the overall data can be misleading because the bad players do poorly with something, but the good players just never lose when they have a particular thing. So being able to do that in like the Realms games and now with Draconis, just such a powerful tool for game balance. So yeah, Draconis has gone through the ringer, and so we're pretty confident that the point value, the internal point values, like players don't see how much each thing costs, but our sort of behind the scene formula that makes cards. We're pretty confident those cards are pretty fair.
Yeah,
Based
that makes a lot of sense because yeah, you can't test better than that. And speaking of the digital game and the physical QR code to digital pack, hopefully we're hoping we can get the SDK linked for XP so you can also earn XP in game through any of your games. We're going to be trying that out here pretty soon. We actually have some meetings next week for this. If that's the case, you can earn XP in game and then go buy things from Wise Wizards online store or convert it over to the affiliate store and get the generic stuff off of our store. What a awesome way to extend the economy to physical things too. So you're buying the physical games, getting digital, then you can buy digital things and get physical. That's a new thing to the gaming industry as far as I know. The only time I've seen it is in like Jackbox games. I've been able to order like t-shirts and stuff.
yeah.
That I created, right? Which
and
those are
and
great too.
and we are really big on organized play at Wise Wizards. Like, so obviously we've got history of being competitive game players, but also like I ran game stores for a long time. Was really focused on having casual events that casual players would enjoy, and we're really trying to incorporate organized play in Draconis at unprecedented levels. So basically, there's going to be tournaments within the app. We're already doing test tournaments in the app right now. And basically, as as the player base grows, like when the physical product comes out, that's when we're really going to be doing our push to get new players in the game. Of course, generate more opportunities for large tournaments within the app. But we're also going to be working on, we're also creating the ability for stores to be able to create tournaments in the app that are run digitally. So, for example, a shop owner could be like, once they register with us as an event organizer, they can create a tournament within the app. So, like, say they create a pack tournament where, okay, you can enter this tournament with a single pack. And then they can share that code with their customers and be like, so the entry fee for joining this tournament is you buy a pack from me. And then they can set a time. They can either have the tournament start when they click a button, so when they want it to start, or they can set a time for the tournament to start. They could even set that time for the tournament to start when the store's closed. Like, okay, this week, anybody who wants to can buy a pack from me and join this tournament. It's going to be happening on Sunday at 9 p.m. when the store's closed. And then the players can play the digital version of that physical pack they got in that tournament, and there will be digital prizes for that, and hopefully we'll be able to get it set up for earning XP, etc. So we're just really trying to open it up so that convention organizers, game store owners, or even players in the community who basically, if they can basically pass our entrance test for being able to run events, then we can knight people to be able to create tournaments, and then they can give away. Either they can just have the event run and we'll be providing digital prizes, or if they want to, they can add whatever prizes they want to the tournament that are physical that they're handing out. So a store could give away store credit, or physical packs, or whatever thing that they want to give out.
I really hope a lot of store owners heard that, because who else is giving the store owners a way to run tournaments and get involved with the video game side of things? Like, that's pretty much unheard of, unless you're like a LAN center or like an arcade that's doing fighting game tournaments or whatever. This is way cool for the FG or the local
and the key to it is that they can set the entry at whatever they want. So basically, they could create a tournament and just let people join with whatever with a constructed deck they already own, or they could say they can charge dollars for entering the tournament, or they could say, hey, you got to buy packs from me to enter this tournament. It's a 3-pack tournament. Buy 3 packs from me, and those will be the pack used in the tournament. And and basically, the person will buy the packs. They see the little person pop up in their tournament. They click accept them, and then and then they're in for the event. So we can capture that physical sales in order to play in a tournament, and the store. And the best thing is, the store doesn't need available table space, and they don't need a judge. Like, it's they're more than welcome, of course, to run physical tournaments, and we'll have support for that as well. But if they want to run digital tournaments using the physical product that players are buying in their store, that's a thing that they can do, and they don't need to have a spot in their schedule, available table space, or a judge. So if you get a bunch of Draconis players show up and be like, hey, I want to do this thing, and they're like, well, I'm running a Pokemon tournament, but sure, I'll pop one in the app for you. You can go to the pizza shop across the street and play. Like, that's so yeah, just really cool.
I've got to say, what a relief for the store owners these days, because they're running, most game stores right now have multiple TCGs that they're running. Almost all of them are on a different tournament software. The staff has to know how to do the nuance of every single different tournament software to report it to the respective publisher for the accountability and the price support and the allocation and all that stuff. What a relief that they don't have to do that. They don't have to be the judge and the executioner for every single tournament and every single tournament software out there.
And they don't even need to have prizes, because we're going to give digital prizes for these tournaments that they create. Now, obviously, they're more than welcome to do prizes. Like, they can charge a $20 entry fee and have a really big store credit prize, or whatever thing they want to do locally. They're totally fine to do that. They'll be able to see the results of the tournament, and so that they'll know who to who to give what to if they decide to give physical prizes. But the digital prizes will happen automatically within the app, and they don't have to they don't have to worry about it at all.
And that can extend even more with XP, because there can be XP from retail stores to buy more product from you guys, and
Yeah,
there's XP
exactly.
for players
Yeah,
to get
it really links in beautifully with the things that XP Network is doing.
you guys have like 4 ways to reward everybody, which is the coolest game ever for rewards. Like, I mean, why wouldn't you come try to compete and play? You get so much more out of those packs when you do that.
And we're looking at taking we often do this where we have a new app and we push the boundaries of the organized play stuff in there, because working with new architecture and building from the ground up. But then we like to go back to our other apps and see, okay, is there a way we can implement this in a way that makes sense, for example in the Star Realms app, etc. So we're constantly working to improve the organized play experience through those,
I
through
bet
all.
there's a lot of fans that like to hear that. Are you ready to go through? So we started a little late, so we're running actually on time, I think. But we do have quite a few questions in the
All right, yeah, go ahead.
So we're going to rapid fire some of these. And this stream goes super fast. 30-minute stream is not a very long one for us talking, at least. I don't know
Yeah.
how it is for the viewers at home, but I think this was very interesting. So it probably went pretty fast for everybody. Tough from Twitch says, I am down to use XP Network to replace Challenge for all community tournaments. Will there be an option to create community tournaments and earn XP for potential prize support for games like Draconis 8, Hero Realms, Cthulhu Realms, etc.? That's an easy yes. And be sure to sign up on XP Network to be an organizer. I believe most of the signups are free. You can, if you want to give out XP and give out your own prizes, there's a nominal fee. I think it's like 10 or 20 bucks a month if you want to have the whole suite, but you don't have to do that to run tournaments on XP Network. And then you can also just go to your store and they'll be able to, they're fully loaded with XP to give out. Next, so that was, I guess, a question for me. Same person says, I will say Draconis is very generous for free packs. I can honestly play the campaign and earn 40 plus free packs at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. So the players, well, I mean, certain players are extremely skilled, so maybe everybody might not have as easy a time. But yes, we do have lots of opportunities for players to earn packs in the app. They're digital packs as well, and we're also going to have some cool physical organized play stuff. So we have every card has a 1% chance to be printed with a gold border instead of a black border. So when you open a pack, you might get some gold border card. When a gold border card is printed, its stat profile is reserved and will never be printed again with a gold border. So gold border cards, cosmetically, one of one unique. And also, when you scan in your pack in the app, gold border cards are animated. So basically, when you play the card, it has or it uses ability, has a little animation that it does. So just sort of a cool cosmetic thing. And so 1% chance on each card. So occasionally you might find a gold border card. We have organized play packs. We have gold packs. A gold pack has a guaranteed gold border common. And so this is something for physical organized play that'll be at stores, and this is and it could be a thing that we put on the XP store, something that you earn. Basically, gold packs are not for sale; they're only earnable through play.
Great use of the minimum XP spend too, and the drops system. Can't wait to get involved with all this and organized play when this is fully rolled out.
And we also have dragon gold packs, which have a guaranteed gold bordered dragon card in them. So that's sort of the ultimate organized play prize is the dragon gold pack. So basically 1 in 100 packs normally will have a gold border dragon, but a dragon gold pack automatically has a gold border dragon. No more powerful for gameplay, but cosmetically super cool.
Way cooler in your video game.
Yeah.
Question from Gospel of Teddy Bruschi. Robot Quest is one of my favorite WWG creations. Is there any hope for more robots or support?
So absolutely. So we've got new robots that we're creating. We've had some challenges in the tariff madness. Robot Quest Arena is an incredibly expensive game to print. So basically, we have to get those in when tariffs are low. If the tariffs are high, it would absolutely crush us, because basically tariffs are based off of printing cost, not your overall cost of creating something. So card games, the tariffs are relatively low because the printing cost is relatively low. Games with big, beautiful plastic minis, the printing cost is a very large percentage of your overall cost, so the tariffs hit super hard.
Oh yeah.
So there's been some challenges there, and there's currently some challenges in plastic, due to the whole Strait of Hormuz oil issues affecting the plastics market. I'm not exactly sure when we're gonna have those new minis, but we have new minis that are designed. We've got the molds; they're awesome. So we'll have that. So yes, more bots are coming.
There have definitely been some hurdles for the tabletop game community, for sure, in the last under decade. So, another question for Rob: Draconis 8 async tournaments win?
So our team's been kicking this around a bit. The challenge with async is the whole in async games you have 48 hours to make a move. In our live games, you've got like you got a little, I think it's about 60-second timer, and if you finish your turn early, you get extra time. So the problem with an async tournament is that if players are, the slowest possible, you could have it be weeks for a particular round. Now, we've discussed internally the idea of, for an async tournament, instead of 48 hours to make a move, you have an overall 48-hour clock total. And when your clock runs out, you're done. So we know for sure within 4 days, we'll be able to move on to the next round. So that would make, or we could shorten that clock to 24 hours or whatever. So basically, we're talking about it internally, trying to figure out the logistics of fixing that issue, because nobody wants to play in a tournament where, okay, it's like 3 weeks, later. Oh wait, now it's round 3 of the tournament. I forgot I was in this one. Like, our community does async tournaments very successfully, but those are on a Facebook page where people have signed up and everybody, and you can message them, hey Steve, make your move, come on, it's time for but when it's something where you can sign up within the app, you might not know the person, you might not be able to contact them. And if you get 2 super slow players who only make a move when they get that final reminder, hey, you're going to lose the game if you don't make a move in an hour, then things could stretch out terribly. So we're working on it. I can't say exactly when we'll have those, but we're kicking around different technical solutions to make that possible. Because I know
I was going to say, since
there's a lot of async.
Yeah, awesome. Well, that's anybody else that's commenting, you've missed the window, but don't forget to scan the QR code below, get your 100 XP. You may be able to use that on DLC or physical product very, very soon. You can also just convert it and get some affiliate product, and Wise Wizards will occasionally be putting product up on there too. Rob, any final words before we let everybody go play games this weekend?
So if you don't have Draconis 8 yet, go ahead and download it on the in the App Store and check it out. And we'll be we're working on the physical product. Printing is very challenging, really interesting stuff, but we do not have time to get into it now. But basically, looking at end of this year or early next year for Draconis 8 to be in stores with that physical product.
Beautiful. All right, everybody. Well, go get your games. Go play online. We're going to be testing some stuff on XP Network because we have a newer update to Double Elimination. We've been testing that with Pong of Champions as well on the app stores. So maybe we'll do some streaming and play on there as well. Community, if you want to do that, jump in the XP Network Discord. Let us know you want to run a tournament or play a tournament. We might throw in a little bit of XP for you guys to help us test. Otherwise, have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you next Friday.